Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Manage the Mental. I am EJ. I am one half of the duo that's going to give you the best of what I do know, and as well as my co-host, the best that I could ever ask for, which is
What's going on, y'all? Terrence Stewart. We are licensed therapists and we are managed the mental. What we got today? What we got? What we talking about?
uh talking about growth, man, and the correlation between growth and grief. It's like at an intersection oftentimes as it pertains to your circle, your friendships, things like that. Sometimes, what do you do as an adult when you outgrow friendships? Um, which is, kind of inevitable if you're going a certain direction in life and somebody or several people that you may have been previously close to may be going a different direction. How do you navigate that? Because these may have been people that were your quote unquote ride or dies, people that you really, really were locked in with. Um, at a point in time, but now it seems that everything is, people are moving in different directions. While one side of the equation is well aware, like, man, I'm outgrowing this. The other side is thinking that or accusing somebody of changing, in which they are, but it's in a positive way.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's really, keeping good company is very important when we go through certain things in our lives, phases. It's always good to have good people around you more. And I know there's a saying like, "Hey, keep like-minded people around you." I think that comes with like goals and aspirations, people that want to do better for themselves if you're trying to do better for yourself. But many a times, like-minded people aren't always going to make you grow, especially if you're trying to get out a different mindset. And we was even talking about a couple of days ago the importance of having good people around you, good company around you. People that's going to challenge you, people that's going to want better for you, right? Because there's a concept you can be a crab in a bucket, and people can try to pull you down, and those can in turn be like-minded people that's trying to get you stuck in the same situation. And I don't think it's always intentional, like somebody's always hating, but a lot of people may not know who you are and they're afraid to lose you. I mean, I've seen that many times in other people's lives, in my life as well too, where people, you're going to a certain level in your life, not to say you're better than anybody else, but you're literally trying to get to a different level in your life. And sometimes people may not be on that same level as you. And again, it's not a hierarchy level, like you're better than anybody else, but it really is are you guys on the same page? And if you guys on the it's one thing to be on the same page, is a whole different thing to be on a different type of book, you know?
Mhm.
Like I'm on a whole different type of book and a whole different chapter. So many times I think a lot of people are afraid to lose those people or feel like there's a sense of loyalty, especially if you've known somebody for a very long time. But it's not a bad thing to keep better company around you, keep better company in your life. And I'm a firm believer that if you are trying to get to a space where you're trying to level up, you have to accept that. You have to accept
Mhm.
that a lot of people may not be on that same page or that be on the same wave as you, and that's okay. And I'm also a firm believer that the best people in your life, the closest people in your life, usually come later in your life. Because you think about, I mean, people you went to high school with, you probably don't really hang out with them or know them. You probably, I mean, I know a few of my friends personally that we still keep in contact, but a lot of the majorities are closer to my friends as I'm, in my mid-30s are coming later in life, came like around in my mid-30s and people I'm closer with now. And who's to say, when you get older and wiser, if those people are still going to be safe serving the same purpose as you are, or as they are now. And that's okay. I think that's the beauty in life, is understanding how can you keep elevating, how can you keep evolving and being adaptive and being fluid, especially in your social circles for sure.
Yeah, and it's a ongoing discussion that probably has to be had. You obviously as a mental health clinician, I don't know if anybody's ever come through your office where they're dealing with that. They've talked to you about like, man, my friends, or some of I don't communicate with them as much, and I feel bad about. I know I have, but fact of the matter is sometimes that maybe the previously fun friend that never grew out of a certain phase that you're in now, you know what I mean? You can't be 2 places at one time. So that fun friend, the friend that you used to man, we used to party and drink and, one morning you woke up and decided that that was no longer gonna be for you. I don't know if it was because of the hangover that caused you to miss work the following day. I don't know if it was, the choices that you made when you were drunk, but something happened where a light bulb went off and you said, okay, this is no longer for me. Now you got the memo. Despite getting that memo, that dear friend of yours, the fun friend, 5 years later, is still going. Now, at the end of the day, that doesn't mean anything bad about that friend or anything like that. But what it does mean is where you are now is not the same as where you previously were. Therefore, that friendship, unfortunately, as is the way that you all bonded, it is no longer functional. And most of the times when you have something in your possession that is no longer functional just by default, it's a law of nature. You tend to kind of neglect it or abandon it or just kind of just, set it down and you really don't find yourself picking it up. The same is true for friendships, right? If it's no longer functional. I read a quote and I don't even know the author on it, so you I don't want to give it credit or discredit anybody, but it says you are allowed to outgrow people,
Mhm.
including the old version of yourself. So
That's a good
if
one.
if I'm allowed to outgrow me, what you think I'm gonna do to you?
Yeah. No,
If
that's a
we're
good
not
one.
going in the same, like I can't be two places at one time. If I am in, it's kind of like life is kind of like a stadium. If I've worked hard to get to the, floor seats, look, I know you're up in the nosebleed. I can't bring you down. You're more than welcome to come down, but I can't escort you down. What you have to put in effort too. Otherwise, we'll be seeing the game of life. We'll be seeing the same exact thing, but we're gonna be seeing it from two totally different perspectives. And my experience that I'm having now is not gonna be the same as yours. Now, does that
That's true.
mean that I dislike you or I think I'm better? Not at all. But it's just the fact that sometimes we outgrow people. And friendships are one of those things that are sentimental to you. Very sentimental.
Mhm.
Very, very something that you kind of really, really cherish. You talked about high school friends. I think it also comes down to personality, just the way people are. I'm a person that just likes to keep up with people in a sense, or people like to keep up with me one way or another. So I got a lot of my high school guys that I'm closer to today than probably, ever before. But it's the same as post high school and adulthood. I'm just, I'm always talking to people. I don't know. I'm always checking up on people, you know,
Yeah.
but um, I think it's one of those things that you have to feel again, you have to feel comfortable with who you are as a person, the growth that you have experienced, the growth that you've made, and don't let anybody or allow anybody to tell you, that you're wrong for experiencing growth. Now, going back to the fitting, okay? It's like a shoe. Very, very sentimental, right? You might have your favorite shoe. I remember growing up as a kid, my favorite shoe that I probably ever had was it was one of King Griffey's Nikes. I
Those are
forget
hot.
which ones it
Yeah.
were, but that was like my favorite shoe, other than like the Jordan Space Jams. The Jordan Space Jam, I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning, standing outside in the cold and snow at Jamestown Mall in Florissant, Missouri. Foolishness, right? But that's what I was on at that time. I'm a teenager, right? But I love that shoe. But here the thing is, man, if that shoe was still in good condition as is right now, the way my foot is set up, I wouldn't be able to fit that shoe no more. So I look silly trying to wear it, and I would be doing myself harm. So you outgrow things. friendships are the same way. Like if it no longer fit, it just don't fit. It don't mean anything. And only one side of the equation would accuse. And when it comes to friendship, it's only usually one person that accuses a person of changing. Or you switched up, or you think you better. You think, you know what I'm saying? The person that is improving is never going to say, oh man, you still in the same. They hardly ever say that. It's usually the person that's getting left behind. Wait for me. Wait, like,
Yeah.
no, come back, that type of thing.
Nah, real talk, real talk. That, I mean, that in itself, what you said, or like the shoe analogy is very, very practical because, it's one is it may not fit in this season, right? It may not fit in this time of your life, but it was very, very essential or important. And the same thing with people is like people may not fit into that. I think that's okay. I think the part of this, and like for me, I'm very I guess I'm more like my personality is that I do have a hard time keeping up with people because I have so much going on. I've always had so much going on. So, if I don't see you on social media or you're not posting, it's kind of like I have a hard time not having you at the forefront of my mind outside of family and like really close friends. People that I went to college with or whatever, I may not always check in on them per se, but I'm always like, I see them posting and things of that nature. I may like or comment or, we may shoot each other DMs or whatever it may be. But I'm the type of person where I do understand that now, a lot of people may not be with you 100% of the time of your life. My pops always said it always resonated with me. He said, I'd rather have 4 quarters and 100 pennies. And what I
Better
mean by
believe
that
it.
is, when it comes to friends, is like you rather have people of value that's going to hold you up instead of like trying to keep up with 100 pennies.
Hmm.
And you may think that having 100 pennies is good. So okay, if I lose one, at least I have a 99 cent. But in terms, it's you got to keep up and manage 100 pennies. You got to pour into 100 people. I always kind of think about this too when it comes to social media following is, you have a lot of people you follow or people that follow you, but um, and I don't know. This is just maybe a tangent. Is how many of those people would show up for you, or would you show up for them? Right? Because I always have that thought too. Is when I try to keep a smaller circle around because I want to make sure that me personally that if I do lose someone or if I do lose somebody of value, then it's like I don't have to like I'm not trying to scramble to replace that person, if that makes sense. I don't know if
Hmm.
that makes sense, but
Yeah.
I'm always on the like keeping good people around you is super important, especially, the more time you spend on this earth because again, you go through different things, you go through different cycles of your life, and it's okay to have people in certain seasons of your life and be able to let people go during other seasons. I think that's the
Yeah.
hardest part is like letting people go. It's like, hey, I don't want to seem like a hater. I don't want to seem like I'm better than anybody, or I always want, you maybe you made a vow or a commitment to somebody, like, hey, we're always going to be together, we're always going to stick around. I'm always have your back, you're always have my back, and it comes to the point where, maybe that one thing that you guys had in common, you guys are no longer bonding over, right? I know,
Hmm.
me prime example is I know when I stopped smoking weed, not necessarily I lost a lot of friends, but I started realizing that oh, we bonded over, like, smoking weed. Every time we hung out, we was high. So, when I stopped, I was like, "Oh, okay, well, that makes sense now." Like, we're not connected in that way because that one thing that brought us together, I'm no longer doing and vice versa, it's not always me. Somebody else may not be interested in something, and, excuse me, I may not be interested in what somebody else have got going on. They may have to separate themselves from myself. It's not always me separating myself. I always notice two
Right.
people do have to, distance them from yourself as well too. So, no, I mean, it's a really, really good, great, great, great topic for sure. Keeping good company and the importance of keeping a good company. Being okay with letting people go if you need to. Like I think that's a real hard part.
Yeah. And it's not it comes with life. And we just on a spiritual level, we serve a God who specializes. One of his many specialties is replenishment, man. Anything that's lost, chances are it's not so much that it's just lost, but it's making room. for something else or somebody else. And so you talk about your guys that you used to smoke with. You realize like, dog, you kind of weird when you not high. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't even somebody I'm like, what are we talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to have to be with you only if you're high. I don't want that to be a
Yeah,
prerequisite of our friendship. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you learn people and it's like, oh, okay, that part right there no longer serves. And as anybody knows, and if anybody really has love for a person or really, you know what I'm saying, respects a person, they're going to be able to respect your point of view to, move on if that is the case. And it goes down to relationships, period. T, I think on a broader level, this is about relationships, period, whether it be professional, whether it be personal. If you're at your job, you can outgrow it. It happens. It happens. Guess what? That job is still going to be there. You remember the job you had before you became a licensed clinician?
yeah,
Did
still
they
there.
did,
So,
did their doors close because Terrence decided to no?
it's for sure that it's still standing. Probably even better since I left.
They probably better, right?
I was
Like, yeah,
I was a
we
squat
got it.
back then, so they probably
Yeah,
better off without me.
yeah, they probably like, man, thank you. We was waiting for you to move on, man. You know what I'm saying? So you still are able to, people are gonna still be able to function regardless of what they say to you. Now, albeit just like that job, they probably hit you with certain things like, okay, is there anything we can do to keep you? Is there da, 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 da? Nah, bon voyage. It's been good. Our season has come to a close. So it's like that with any relationship. Some people get so inundated though with, I guess, the loss of friendship that it does stifle them a great deal. For some people it can put them in park where they just, they're not able to really move forward because they feel as though like, man, this person was such a crucial part of my life. And I feel like, them leaving or them excelling or them climbing reminds me that dang, I've wasted a lot of time. And that's a tough thing. Imma share something with you though, T. As you mentioned before, you being a gentleman in your mid-30s, right? It is quite possible, T. This is just the way life works. Like you said, your high school buddies were everything to you till you got to college. College guys are everything to you until you get into the working world, you start meeting people and stuff like that, and you still maintain some of those relationships, right? But it's quite possible, T, that you in your mid-30s that you may have only met 60% of the most important people you will ever meet in your life at your mid-30s,
I believe that.
meaning that there's a whole 40% of surplus that's coming in the chapters to come that you have no idea about. So for anybody listening to this, if you are a person that feels like, man, I lost, I don't really be talking to my people, just keep turning that page. In the chapters to come, there's gonna be some new characters. Remember, we specialize, we serve a God that specializes in replenishment. He don't ever just remove something to remove it. There's a reason. He's making room for something, you know what I mean? Obviously, certain things can't be replaceable, but, oftentimes they can't. He's making room. And so you in your mid-30s, man, you've probably and 60% is me being liberal. It may only be 50, bro. I ain't gonna even lie to you.
Possibly. No, I'm the way life has been moving, uh, I wouldn't disagree with you at all. I wouldn't
Yep.
disagree with you at all for sure.
And as a testament, guys, I know we talk about people use um the metaphor of a bingo card nowadays when they talk about what their year to come. Man, I didn't see that this on my bingo card. I didn't see that on my bingo card. This podcast right here had no idea couple years ago, 3, 4 years ago, that T was coming, you know what I'm saying, was about to come into my book of life. You know what I'm saying? So it just happens. We had no idea. And now we, super close, super locked in. You know what I'm saying? But it's the way it works. You don't know who's coming.
Absolutely. I think our friendship is unique too, because a lot of people may not know we're in 2 different states,
Right,
2 different time zones. Like, you're waking up at 5 AM, it's 7 AM over here to do this, you know what I mean?
right. Oh, for sure.
So it's just, down the line, I think even our like, we had it was a social media thing, like, we had connected like, other Black therapists, I'm just like, "Hey, what's up?" With other Black male therapists, I'm like, "What's going on?" Like, how can we connect? And then we have a lot of mutual, people that we know as well. But yeah, again, you don't know. You don't know who's
You
going to
don't
enter your
know.
life and what you may be able to create and do. That's a
Mm,
fact. It's a
yeah,
known fact. So yeah, man. I think this is a great episode for sure. I ain't gonna hold you. I know we usually do the dry down. I'm in my office right now. I'm wearing something, but I'm not sure if you can hold it down for the dry down
come
portion
on, bro.
today.
Come on
You
now.
got it?
Is water wet? See, you know what I'm saying? What do you mean?
Right, so those that don't know, this is the end of our segment. It's called the dry down. So E and I have a particular passion for fragrances. So before I think it was called it for sense, but we had a conversation. We call it the dry down now because it's the end of our segment. So this is where we share a fragrance that we um, enjoy, that we love. And we just want to share the passion for it because we are human too. I know we're therapists, but we are human too. We do things outside of being a therapist. So, E, what you got? Because you ain't even told me. And again, I was running late, so I'm intrigued at what you got.
Man, well, I'm always gonna keep some, you guys. Um, as we are nearing, just so everybody knows, my favorite time of the year is for fragrances in particular is um fall and winter. So as we are nearing the end of winter, I guess, and we're about to head into spring, I'm gonna try to let this one spin a few more times. This is a oldie but goodie for those that can see. This is time for Noir Extreme. This is the EDP, okay, version. Phenomenal fragrance. It just is what it is. It exudes whatever you want it to do during the fall time, the winter time. It plays its part. It's definitely a crowd pleaser. Hard to just to say anything bad about it. So you all know though, if you want to know, like what are some of the notes in it? Number one, it leads with cardamom. So if you are a person that is into cardamom, it's actually phenomenal. That's at the top as well as nutmeg. So what makes it so unique to you is the cardamom and nutmeg. And then as it begins in the middle section of the notes, as it kind of starts to wear a little bit, you'll notice this. There's a note called coffee, and what coffee is, I want to make sure I say this the right way, but there's a coffee note which I believe is something like in the Middle Eastern, something that they use for like gourmand purposes, maybe like sweets or something like that. But
Are
there's
you
a
saying like coffee, like you drink coffee, or is
coffee
it?
note, Kulfi. Yeah, Kulfi. There's a coffee note that really, because it's something in it that you like, man, I've never kind of smelled that before. It makes it very, very unique, and it's very much pronounced when you smell it. But there is a coffee note, which is, my gosh, this thing, when I say it does what it's supposed to do, it's phenomenal. And so I would say that you can wear this um in any, for any kind of event. Let me see. Yeah, formal, casual, whatever the case is. Like I said, in the fall and winter, it really, really shines. But again, that coffee note, which is good, it's something that they use like for dessert. So it's
Yeah, it
it's
says like gourmand,
it's definitely
sweet.
a gourmand type of
Uh,
vibe that you can't beat. And then as it dries down a little more, the bass notes on this thing that you can really, really start picking up on. Of course, there's the vanilla, you got some sandalwood, and some other woods as well. So it's a phenomenal. You even got a little rose in here too.
yeah,
If you're looking to get a guy, just a good fragrance that's just gonna really do what it's supposed to do, always. always not just a safe buy, but a smart one. I've yet to ever I've hear a lot of people talk about a lot of different things. This is one of those fragrances that universally I always hear people say, yeah, you can't lose with that's just a it's a standard.
Yeah, I gotta get my
Beautiful
nose on that one. I'm
fragrance.
looking at one of my favorite notes. I'm looking on Fragrantica. One of my favorite notes is orange blossom.
Yes, it has some orange blossom in it
That's
too with
yeah,
I
that's
think a
one of
little
my favorite.
saffron, a little neroli.
I
It's a
see
few
mandarin
things, but it
orange.
just and it's a compliment grabber. So anybody listening to this, if you one of the people that's really like, man, I'm really into compliments. That's what I be wearing it for. I want somebody to tell me I smell good. You know, you because let's keep it a thou, T. As guys, we don't necessarily just garner compliments all day unless you're on that kind of tier of a type of career or whatever, where, if you're an athlete or something like that, obviously you get people cheering for you. So
Mhm.
you get told every day, essentially that you're great when you perform a certain way. But for most guys, we don't really get too many compliments. And
Yeah,
so to be able to be told somebody walk past you, wow, you smell good. That's a great that really, really works.
cherry on top. Yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely.
So
Yeah,
Tom Ford Noir Extreme, you guys,
I
just trust
I
me.
most definitely gotta get a little decant or some of that. Yeah. I appreciate you putting me on game. Tom Ford hasn't I mean, me personally, Tom Ford hasn't been one I've had in the collection per se. I know Tuscan leather is very popular. Cherry one, I forgot there's a couple of
Yeah,
cherry.
Lost Cherry.
Yeah, Lost Cherry. But this one sounds appeasing.
Yes, this is to me, Tom Ford has, some cool fragrances or whatever. But for me personally, there are on he they that house only has two that I'm like, okay, this has to be, what I'm saying? If you're a collector or whatever like that, that is like, man, it's two of that really do it for me. And albeit, of course, fragrances are subjective, but it's this, and then there's also tobacco vanille. That's part of it, and it's private line. Other than that, ombre leather would be a third runner. If there was three, ombre leather will probably be that third part. Very good leather out there, but because you have so many other houses that do certain things like that really do leather good, um, it's kinda like, ooh, yeah, it's up there. It's definitely a great leather, but I'm not saying it's not like this right here because of that coffee note, because of, how they just blend it. There's not too much else out there that you can even compare this to. You're not gonna look at it and be like, "Oh, man, that smells just like" no, it don't. I can promise you that.
Definitely gotta tap into that. There is one Tom Ford fragrance I do have, but it's more like my wife's fragrance. And that one, you gotta wear that one very, very cautiously. Very cautiously.
Mm,
I might bring it on to the to the next dry down because that one's not blind buy safe at all. But if you wear it during a certain temperature, like if it's below like 50, phenomenal. Anything over like 50 degrees or anything like that, it kind of reeks. If that makes sense. But
gotcha.
very, very cool weather one for sure.
Yeah.
Um, cool, man. We appreciate y'all for tapping in. Make sure you guys, whatever streaming platform you're listening to, or if it's YouTube, if it's Apple Podcasts, or even if you're just on social media and you find us, make sure you guys follow or subscribe, do all the things to do to keep us going, and just getting the word out, just getting the word out for sure. We appreciate y'all. Make sure you guys tap into our next episode, and we'll talk to y'all soon. We are Manage the Mental.
Manage the mental, all the best. And by the way, guys, prepare to before we let you go, know that starting this month, we'll be doing our mid-month check-in series. We'll be getting that going and all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned. More information to come about that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So y'all take care.